So hello and welcome to the basics of the PHP code. In this tutorial, we will cover the basics of PHP syntax, how to use PHP with HTML, and how to get the system information from PHP. So let's start off by talking about the basic syntax of the PHP. Now, as I have told you that PHP is a server-side scripting language that is used to develop dynamic web applications and web pages. The basic syntax of PHP involves enclosing the PHP code in between the opening and closing PHP tag. Now the opening tag is created with the less than sign. You can just type this sign by holding the shift button on your keyboard and typing this sign. And then you also have to type the question mark as well. And after you type the question mark, the VS Code will give you the suggestion, hey, do you want to insert this PHP? Yes, I do. And after this question mark without the space, you have to type this PHP just like that. If you type the space, then it will not work. Make sure the PHP is attached with the question mark and there is no space in between. And now you also have to type the closing PHP tag. Now for typing the closing PHP tag, you need to type the question mark first and then this greater than sign. Now this is the place where you can type your PHP code and the PHP code will be executed. Now let me just type this. Let me type the basic code. Now in the coding we have different keywords and statements. Just don't worry about the keywords and statements because I will cover them one by one when you progress through the course. But now you have the keyword which is called the echo. Now what this echo statement does, it just prints out whatever you type in front of it. So this is the keyword, and now I want to type the sequence of characters to be displayed on the browser. Now for typing the sequence of characters, if I type it like this, it will not work. Let's see if it works. As you can see, it is giving us the error. It says that syntax error, unexpected identifier is, so it is just giving me this error. The reason for that is you cannot just type this like this. You have to just enclose the sequence of characters in between the opening and closing quotes. So now I'm going to use the double quote syntax. So I have typed the double quote. This is the starting double quote. So whenever you are creating a string and you have typed the quote here on the one side, you also have to type the quote on the other side as well. So I'm going to type the other quote as well. This is called the opening quote and this is called the closing quote. Over one statement is created with the one keyword. This is called the keyword. Now for running the PHP code, you have to just enclose your code in between the opening and closing PHP tag. And now you have to also terminate your statement with the semicolon. For typing the semicolon, you have to just type the semicolon like this. And now this code will be executed. Let's just type some meaningful words like this is my first PHP code. Now you will see this text in the browser. So I'm going to go back to my browser and I want to refresh the page. Now we need to refresh the page whenever we make some changes. As you can see, this is my first PHP code. That means our PHP code has successfully been executed. And now let's just get back to the browser again. Here you can see I have named my PHP file as first and the extension is .php. Now you also have to make sure that whenever you are creating the PHP file, the extension always have to be the PHP. Now inside this PHP file you can also run your regular HTML code, but now it will run that code on the server side and not the client side. So now for creating a PHP, let me just create an HTML file, my HTML and HTML.html, and I want to create the boilerplate code here. This is going to be our boilerplate code. I want to type here the title, my first PHP page. This is the title that you are going to see at the top here. And now let's just copy this HTML code and let's paste it in our PHP file. Now you don't have to type the extension for your PHP file as .html, as it is a server-side scripting language and you always have to type the extension of your PHP file as .php. And now let me just close this HTML file and let's just paste it here. Now let me also type some text here, like this is the text. Let's see if it executes this code. I'm gonna go back to my browser and I'm gonna refresh the page. As you can see, this is the text. That means our code is successfully running. And if I just inspect the page, as you can see, This is our HTML file, this is our head file, this is our body. Just don't worry about this code that is injected here. This is injected by the extensions that I have installed. And now just open this body, and here is our body, and this is the code inside the body that we have typed. This is the text. This is the regular HTML code. Like you can just type the text in between the opening and closing tags. Like if I want to type the div here, div, as you can see, it is giving me this suggestion. And if I want to type the text here, just like that, we are inside the PHP file, and I have opened this PHP file in the browser. And here you can see this is our body, and inside this body I have this div. Inside this div I have this text that I have typed. But now if I want to run the PHP code, then what I need to do, I need to just type it like this. Just like I said before, you have to just also type the starting PHP code. You have to create the starting PHP tag, and then you have to just create the closing PHP tag as well. After typing this and this, now you can just run whatever PHP code you like. So if I type the echo, now I want to just echo the sequence of character like string. This is the text from the PHP code. And now, as I said, you also have to terminate it with the semicolon. Every statement is terminated in PHP with semicolon. And now just don't worry about these statements, because I'm going to cover them in the upcoming tutorials. This is the keyword. And now, besides using this keyword, you can also make it like a function. Now for calling a function, you have to just surround this with the opening and closing parenthesis. So these brackets are called the parentheses. So these are the parentheses. You have to surround your text in between these parentheses. And after that, you have to type the opening and closing quotes. And in between those opening and closing quotes, you have to type your PHP text, and your text will be executed just like it was executing before. So now, as you can see, this is your text. As you can see, you are not able to see the opening and closing PHP tags. The reason for that is that this code is compiled, and this is the code that we are typing here. Now let me just cut this, and let me create the code from which you can check the current date. So for typing that code, I'm going to create the paragraph. I'm going to type that code in between the paragraph. So let's just cut this, and let's just create a paragraph. And inside this paragraph, I want to just create the HTML code. So I need to just type the opening and closing PHP tag. And now I want to create the PHP code. So I need to just type the PHP opening and closing tag. And now this is the opening and closing PHP tag. And in between this, I want to run the PHP code. So I want to run the PHP code. So now what I'm going to do, I want to type echo. And now I want to type the current date. For that, PHP has the built-in functions. Now I will also talk about these functions in a series, so just don't worry about that. So now these functions are already created by PHP. Now in programming, you also have the option of creating your own functions that I will cover in my upcoming tutorials. Now for getting the date, what you need to do, you need to just type year, because this is where I want to get the year. And then after separating it with the hyphen or the minus sign, you also have to type the month, M, and then you also have to type the day. Now it will just show you the current month, year and date. So now I need to refresh the page. As you can see, this is the current date, and the date is 18, the month is 3rd, which is the March. Now let's get the system information from PHP. Now PHP has a built-in function that allows you to get the system information from the server on which the PHP is running. The PHP info function is used to display the information about the PHP configuration on the server. So now let me just type the PHP info function. So now for typing the PHP info function, I need to just type the PHP and then the info. So this is the built-in function, and now you don't have to pass any type of arguments. So now for calling a function, first of all you need to just type the name of the function. So this is the name of the function, PHP info, and then you also have to type the opening and closing parentheses just like that. And finally you have to terminate it with the semicolon. Let's just get back to the browser. Let me just refresh the page. As you can see, now it is giving me the system information page. Now let's just scroll down a bit. As you can see, this is the system information, and now you have all these different things that are related to the system. Now we are running the PHP on the Apache server with the port of 80. So that's it for this video on basics of PHP. We have covered the syntax of PHP, how to use the PHP with HTML, and how to get the system information from PHP. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and now I will see you in the next one. So hello and welcome to this PHP course. In this video, we will cover the PHP echo and print statements and how they are used to display text and variables on a web page. Now let's start with the echo statement. The PHP echo statement is used to output text and variables to the screen. The basic syntax of the PHP echo statement is, first of all, you have to type the echo. Now here I'm on the PHP file. As you can see, the extension of my file is .php. That means I'm on the PHP file and I have typed this HTML here. Now let me just cut this HTML. The reason why I'm cutting this HTML is it will make the code a lot simpler to understand for you as a beginner. So I'm gonna just cut this from here. Let's just open the PHP tag and let's just also type the closing PHP tag as well. And in between those, you can just execute whatever PHP code you like. And now I want to just type the echo, and after typing this echo, I want to execute the string. So I have to just type the opening and closing code just like that after the space. Make sure you also have the space between the echo. And now you can just type whatever text you like text to be displayed. Now this is the text that will be displayed on the screen. Here I'm typing the semicolon to terminate the current statement. And now this is our PHP code. Let's just go back to the browser and let me just refresh the page. As you can see, it is showing me the text to be displayed. Let's just go back to the VS Code. Now you can also store this text somewhere else on a variable. Now variables are containers that store the different data and reference to the data. Now I'm going to create a variable. Now I will be creating the dedicated series on variables as well, so you don't have to worry about that. But for now, let me show you the basics of creating a variable. So for creating a variable in PHP, you need to first type this $sign. You can type this by holding the shift button on your keyboard and pressing this $sign. On my keyboard, it is on the numeric keys. You can just find this sign on your keyboard and you can just insert it. And after inserting it, you have to just type the name of the variable. In this case, I want it to be name, and now I want the name to be like. Now this equals to sign is called the assignment operator. So whatever you type here on the right side of the equals to sign will be assigned to the variable that is on the left side of the equals to sign. This is not the equality operator. We are not checking for the equality like name is equal to something. We are just assigning the value. Whatever we type here will be assigned to this variable. So now I'm going to type the text John, and now after this echo statement, I want this text that I have here in this variable to be appended here. Now what I need to do, let me type the hello, and after typing this hello and after the space, after the comma, here inside this you can just type whatever text you like. I'm typing hello and then I'm typing the comma so that it will look beautiful when I type hello John. Now I want to just type the John here. After that, I have stored this John string in a variable. Now how do I use that variable here? Now for using and appending this string here, I need to type the dot, and after this dot I need to type the name of the variable. Now the name of the variable is this name, so I'm going to type the name here, and now the output is going to be hello John. Let's just go back to the browser. Let me just refresh the page. As you can see, it is giving me the error unexpected token echo in this line number 3. So now I think I have made a mistake. Now as you can see, I haven't typed the semicolon, so I'm going to insert the semicolon here. And now let's just go back to the browser and let's just refresh the page. As you can see, this is our output. Now suppose if you forgot to type this semicolon, let's see what happens. Let's just get back to the browser and let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is working perfectly fine. And if I just remove this semicolon and if I try to refresh the page, then it will just give me this error. As you can see, it is giving the error, syntax error, unexpected token echo in the line number 3. You need to make sure that whenever you are typing some statement, you also need to terminate that statement with the semicolon, just like that. And now your code will work perfectly fine. So now here I want to echo the hello John. What I did, I just saved the John in a variable called name, and I have assigned the John value to this name variable. And now this is our echo statement. Here is the hello and then the word. So now you will see that, let me just refresh the page, hello, and then after the comma you have this John value here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Let me just zoom it in. This is the hello John. And now if I want to type the Jane, it will just make it Jane. So let me just refresh the page. As you can see, now it is making Jane. So that's the benefit of the variable. Now there is another way of displaying the value to the screen, and that is the print statement. The print statement is similar to the echo statement, and it is used to output the text and variables to the screen. Now the basic syntax of typing the print statement is, first of all you have to type the print just like you do with the echo. You have to type the print here just like that, and then whatever text that you want to print. Now let's just go back to the browser again. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, our code is working. That means there is no mistake in the code. So now it has printed this hello world to the screen. Now these two things are almost the same, but the main difference between the print and echo statement is that echo is slightly faster than the print. Additionally, the print statement returns a value of 1, while the echo does not return a value. Now I will talk about the returning values in detail in my upcoming tutorials when we talk about the functions and how you can create your own functions to perform different operations. So that's it for this video on the PHP echo and print statement. We have covered how to display the text and variables using the echo, how to use the print as an alternative to the echo, and the difference between the two. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and now I will see you in the next one. In PHP, a statement is a complete instruction that tells the computer to perform a specific action. The statements are building blocks of any program, and they are used to control the flow of execution, assign values to variables, manipulate data, and perform other operations. In this tutorial, we will discuss what statements are in PHP and how to type them. Now in PHP, you don't need any keyword to declare a variable because PHP is a dynamically typed language. This means that the data type of a variable is determined automatically at runtime based on the value that is assigned to it. Now to type a statement in PHP, you need to follow the syntax rules of the language. Now the syntax of the statement defines the rules for how the statement should be written and how it should be interpreted by the PHP interpreter. Now the basic syntax of PHP statement is, first of all you have to type the instructions. So now suppose this is the instruction like that. This is an instruction, and after that you have to terminate it with the semicolon. Now in this example, the statement is the actual instruction that you want to execute, and the semicolon at the end of the statement indicates the end of the statement. Now let me give you the real example. So for example, I want to create a variable and I want to name it num, and I want to assign a numeric value. So as I said, this is a variable, this is the assignment operator, this is the value that you want to assign to this variable, and this is the end of the statement because this is the semicolon. The type of this 10 is integer, and as you can see, I haven't specified the type here, like I haven't typed the new integer, just like that. This is how we declare the types in other programming languages when we want to define the particular thing. And now in PHP, you don't need to do that. You just have to type the value just like that, and then the PHP interpreter will automatically understand that the type of this 10 is like integer because integer values are numeric values. Or it will just automatically assign the type, and it will just assign the value to this num variable. Now if you want to just print out this num variable, you have to just type echo, and then you have to just type the num. After typing it like this, it will just execute the statement, and as you can see, the 10 is successfully executed. And now if I just forgot to type this semicolon after that, now that means the statement continues. So that means you are typing this echo here, and this is the full statement because this is where it is ending. Now this is the semicolon. Now this is the invalid syntax because you are typing the number value here and then you are typing the string value without enclosing it in the opening and closing quotes, and then you are typing the variable in front of that. Now it will just give you the error. If I refresh the page, then you will get the error. It says that syntax error, unexpected echo. So it says that this echo is unexpected. After this 10, the interpreter was expecting you to put the semicolon instead of this echo. Now if you don't type this semicolon, then the interpreter will think that your statement has not ended yet, and now it will just see the other things that are after this 10. So you cannot type this echo just like that, because the type of this value is the integer. This is the string without the quotes, which is also the invalid syntax. And then you have this variable indentation, and then you have this value appended after that. So this is also an invalid syntax because we are not typing the dot here just like that. And now this is the valid syntax. Now when you are going to type the string, this is a valid syntax. So now it will just make the whole code wrong. Now remember that whenever your statement is finished, you have to put the semicolon at the end. So now you can just keep this code in a single line just like that, because here we have the two statement. This statement is here and this is the second statement. Now the code will work perfectly fine. If I refresh the page, you will see the output. Even though you can just create the code like this, but to make it more readable, what we do, we just make them in the separate lines just like that. So this is the one statement, this is the second statement, so that we can understand each statement and we can perform different tasks on different lines. Like if I want to add something inside the 10, I can just type the plus sign here, and then if I add the 10 here in which after that, now it will just print out the 20. So this is the echo 10. So as you know, the echo is used to display the value, and now I'm displaying 10 plus 10 is equal to 20, so it's going to be 20. Let's refresh the page. Now it is also important to note that PHP is a loosely typed language, which means that you don't have to declare the data type of a variable before declaring it. For example, you can assign a string value to a variable that was previously holding the integer value. Now let me show you. Now here you can see our num has the value as 10. That 10 is the integer. So numbers in PHP are called the integers. So this is the integer and you are assigning the integer to this variable. Now whenever I want to assign a new value to a variable, I need to just type the name of the variable and then this assignment operator. Now this equals to sign in many programming languages work as an assignment operator. So now whatever you type after this will be assigned to the variable. So now I want to assign the 12 into it. Now let's just echo the value and see the value. And now what do you think the value of this will be? Let's just go back to the browser, refresh the page. As you can see, the value is 12. That means the value of the num variable is modified now, and the value of the num variable is 12. Now as you can see, this is the integer and this is also an integer. Now in other programming languages, if you want to assign a value to a variable, you need to just use the same technique. The type of both of these is the same, so I can just assign the value to them. But now suppose if I want to assign a string value to this num variable, now the data type of this variable is integer. I want to assign the string value to an integer. Is it possible in PHP? And yes, it is possible in PHP because PHP is a loosely typed language. So now let's just assign it. Let's just assign a string value. This is a string. Now it is possible in PHP, but it is not possible in many programming languages out there. So if you have declared a variable with a particular data type, like for example in this case, the data type of this variable is like integer, and if I want to assign the integer value into it, I can do that. But in many programming languages, this is the 10, this is an integer. If I want to, I have declared this variable here and I have also initialized the value here. Now declaring a variable is this part. This is called the variable declaration, and if you type the equals to sign and this value, that means you have initialized this variable and you have assigned a new value to this variable. Now suppose I'm not writing the code in the PHP. So in many other programming languages, if I want to assign the value to a variable with the same data type, like if I want to assign a variable to the num, a new value like num is equals to, which is the assignment operator 20, I can simply do that in other programming languages, in many programming languages, but I cannot assign a string value But in PHP, it is possible to reassign a value with the new data type. Like in this case, it is a string. Now let's just output the value and let's see. As you can see, it is working perfectly fine and it is not giving me the error. Now the opposite of the loosely typed language is a strongly typed language. In a strongly typed language like the Java and C++, the data type of the variable is enforced more strictly than in the loosely typed languages like the JavaScript and PHP. In strongly typed language, you need to declare the data type of a variable before you can use it, and the compiler will check for the type mistakes and generate errors if necessary. This provides more compile time safety and helps catch errors in the early development process. Like in this example, the variable num is assigned the value of 10 and then assigned the string value. The PHP interpreter will automatically change the data type of the variable to match the value assigned to it. Now in PHP, you don't need any keyword to declare a variable because PHP is a dynamically typed language, as I have talked about earlier. This means that the data type of a variable is determined automatically at runtime based on the value that is assigned to it. Now the opposite of the dynamically typed language is a statically typed language. Now in statically typed language like the Java or C++, the data type of a variable is determined at the compile time before the program is executed. This means that the programmer must explicitly declare the data type of a variable before using it. The program will not compile if there are any mismatches. For example, if you try to assign a string value to an integer variable in the strictly typed language. However, it is important to note that dynamic typing can lead to bugs and errors if you are not careful. You need to make sure that you are assigning the correct value to a variable. However, it is important to note that dynamic typing can lead to bugs and errors if you are not careful. You need to make sure that you are assigning the correct value to a variable, and you should always invalidate user input to ensure that it's in the valid format. So now that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. So hello and welcome to another video of my PHP course. Now in this video I'm going to give you a little bit overview about what we are going to learn in this series. So now this series is on the data types. Now data types in PHP are used to represent different types of values such as numbers, text, arrays, objects and many more. Now there are several built-in data types in PHP. Each comes with its own characteristics and uses. The most common data types in PHP are the booleans, integers, floats, strings, arrays, objects, callables, and resources. Now let me show you the definition of some of these that I'm going to cover in this series. Now the first thing that I'm going to cover in this series is the string. Now this data type represents a sequence of characters such as the text or the numbers. It is commonly used for storing and manipulating the textual data. Now the next data type that I will talk about in this series is going to be the integer and the floats. Now the integer data type represents the whole number, both the positive and the negative. It is used for arithmetic operations and counting. Now on the other hand, float, which is also known as the floating point number, is a data type that represents the decimal numbers. It is used for precise calculation that involves the decimal point. Now another data type that I will talk about in this series is going to be the boolean. Now this data type represents a value that is either true or false. It is commonly used in conditional statements and logical operations. Now there are some other data types like arrays, objects, callables and resources, but I will cover them in the separate series because these are the complex data types and these are not for you as a beginner, so I will create the separate series for them when you have the sufficient knowledge of PHP. Now in addition to these data types, PHP also supports a special value which is called the null. Now null represents the absence of a value and it is commonly used to indicate an uninitialized variable or a missing value. It can be assigned to any variable or expression indicating that it has no value. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. And now I will see you in the next one. So hello and welcome to another video of my PHP course. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about the strings. So string is a sequence of characters that represent the text or the data. Now strings can be created using different syntaxes depending on the requirement of the application. In this tutorial, I will explain 4 different syntaxes used to create the strings in PHP. Now let's start this video by talking about the single quoted syntax. Now the single quoted syntax is the simplest way to create the string in PHP. It uses the single quotes to enclose a string literal, and any characters within the quotes are interpreted literally. Now let me just show you how you can create the single quoted strings in PHP. Let's just type the name of the variable. In this case, the name of the variable starts with the $sign. As you know, the name of the variable starts with the $sign, and then I want the name of the variable. Now I'm going to specify the identifier for that as name, and after that I want to say John, and now it is the invalid string, as you know. And if I type do, now as you can see it is the invalid string, and I also have to terminate it with the semicolon. You can see there is no single quote or double quote around it. It is the invalid string. Now for making it a valid string, you need to enclose it in the single quotes or double quotes. So now I'm enclosing it in the single quotes. Now it is called a valid string value. Now this string is assigned to this name, and if I want to display this in the output, I can just use the echo and then the name. Now it will just output this name to the console. Let's see. Let me just refresh the page. As you can see, this is the John Doe. This is the output that we were expecting. So that means our code is working perfectly fine. Now let me also create a variable where I'm going to say like hello. I want to name that variable as greeting, and I want to assign the value like hello. Let's just terminate it with the semicolon. Now I want to append this string with this string that I have created here. So this is a variable and this is also a variable. Now as I said in my previous video, if you want to append a string, then you need to use the dot syntax. So just type the dot just like that, and now I want to just type the greeting. I want to type the greeting here. Now let's see if it works. So let's just go back and let's just refresh the page. As you can see, our code is working perfectly fine. Hello John Doe. This is what we were expecting. In the greetings, I have assigned the hello value. So the hello will be outputted as the part of this string because I'm using the dot syntax to append the value, append this string with this existing string, and the whole string will be assigned to this variable. And I'm using the echo statement to output the value to the console. So this is the output that you are seeing here. So this is the single quoted string. Now as you can see, I have also created the double quoted string. So you can create these strings using the single or double quotes. Now the double quoted syntax allows for variables and escape sequences to be expanded within the array. It uses double quotes to enclose the string literal. Now for example, I have this value here. Now let me just convert this to a double quoted string, and then I will explain you how to work with it. And now inside this I want to put like John Doe. So just type John Doe, John Doe. Now I want to append this value with this John Doe. How do I do that? Now by using the double quotes, I can directly use the variable here inside it. So now if I type the greeting here, it is allowed with the double quotes, but it is not allowed with the single quotes. Now you will see hello John Doe because the value of this greeting is hello. So hello, and then after the comma you will see the John Doe. And let me just refresh the page. As you can see, our code is working perfectly fine. That means we have typed the right syntax and the right code. Now let's move on to another syntax for creating the strings in PHP, which is the here dog syntax. My pronunciation could be wrong, so just ignore that. Now the here dog syntax is used to create strings that span multiple lines and contain variables and escape sequences. It starts with the triple less than sign followed by an identifier, which can be any string of characters as long as it does not contain white space or backslashes. Now the string literal is then enclosed by the identifier on the line by itself, followed by a string content and a closing identifier on a line by itself. The closing identifier must be on a line by itself and must not indented. Now the here dog syntax starts with the triple less than sign followed by an identifier, which can be any valid identifier, and then you can just type the string content, and the string content is enclosed by an identifier on the line by itself followed by the string content and a closing identifier on the line by itself. So now let me just create the here doc string. So now let's just cut the string for create, because it will just make the code a little bit complicated for you as a beginner. So I'm gonna start from scratch. And now for creating the here doc string, I'm going to type the name of the variable first. So the variable name could be anything. In this case, I'm going to name it as here doc string, here doc underscore string, just so you can understand that this is the here doc string. And now I want to assign a value to it. I want to make it here doc string. So as I said, the here doc string starts with the triple less than sign. So I need to type these signs 3 times. You can just type those by holding the shift button on your keyboard. Now let's just type the EOT. And now let's also close it with the EOT. Let's type EOT. And now your here doc string is closed. This is how we open the here doc string, and this is how we close the here doc string. And now let me type this in capital letters. Let's just select them all. You have to type EOT in capital letters. Now I have just changed both of these. Now I can just type whatever string I like. And now I also have to terminate it with the semicolon. I want to type like this is the string that I want it to type. Let's just go back in the browser and let's see if it is working or not, if our code is right or not. As you can see, you are not able to see any kind of output. The reason for that is I haven't used the echo, so I also have to use the echo to be able to output it. Now it will just execute this code. It will just assign this string that you have typed inside this here doc string, and for outputting the value to the screen we use the echo. Now let's just type the here doc string, and now it will just output the value to the console. Here you can see this is the string that I wanted to type. Now let's make it a multi-line string and let's see if it works. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is still working. Now this EOT is the identifier that starts and ends with the string content. Now whatever identifier you type here, you have to type the same here. Now let me just change it to like start, and let's also paste it at the bottom. Now it is a valid here doc string. So let's just get back to the browser. Let's refresh the page and let's see if it works. As you can see, our string is still working. Now let me just give you the example by using the variables here. So now let's just create a variable and we will just use those variables inside the string. So the first variable that I want to create is the name variable, and I want to assign the value here like John Doe. Let's just type John Doe. And then I want to create another variable with the name age, and I want to assign another value to it. And this time the age is going to be the numeric value, which is this 30. So this is the string value and this is the numeric value. Now let's try using this in the here doc string. So for using those in the here doc string, what you need to do is you need to just type your string just like that, or you can directly use it here in the string. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just type my name is, and then I want to use this variable, name variable. So it will just give us the value of this John Doe here. So the output is going to be my name is John Doe, and then after that I want to type the dot, and after this dot let's just also create a space, and I want to say what's my age. So I am, and then the age, let's just type age, and then the years old. So now it will say that my name is John Doe, I am 30 years old. So let's just get back to the browser, and here you can see I'm outputting the value of this here doc string here. So that's the reason why it is showing us the output in the screen. And make sure whenever you are using the PHP to run the code, the Apache server is running in the background. As you can see, my Apache server is running, and I have opened this page from the htdocs. Let me just show you how you can open that again. I have already shown you how you can open that in my first or second video. Let's just type localhost after the /. Let's just type localhost, and then after that you have to type the name of your folder that you have created in the htdocs folder. I created my folder with the name of my PHP tutorial, and then if you press enter, it will just open up all the files that are inside that particular folder. I have only created one file, which is the first.php, And for opening this, I can just click on that, or I can directly specify that the path here like first.php, and it will just open the same page for me. As you can see, now it is outputting the value. My name is John Doe. This John Doe is coming from a variable, and I'm using the variable here in the here doc string without doing anything. I'm using the variable here, and I'm also using the variable here. Now when you have created a string using the single quotes, you cannot do that, and here it is possible. As you can see, I'm just putting it. Let's just try the same with the single quote variable. So let me just create a variable single. I want to assign the value here with the single quotes like my name is, and I want to use the variable which is the name. So let's just use the name. As you can see, I'm not able to do that. Let's just echo this value first. So I'm going to echo the single value. Now you will see that it will not output the correct input. Now you will see that it will not give us the correct input. As you can see, it says that syntax error, unexpected token echo. So I need to also type this semicolon to terminate this statement. Let's just refresh the page. As you can see, my name is name, so it is just considering this variable as a string and not a variable. So that's the problem with the, so this is the problem with the syntax. So this is the problem with the syntax with the single quotes. So now it all depends on your use case. If you only want to display the simple string, then you can use the single quote string. And if you want to also add the variables in your string, then you can use the double quote string, or you can also use the here doc string. Now to sum it up, the here doc syntax is the convenient way to create multi-line string that includes variable and escape sequences. It provides an alternative to the concatenation and escape sequences for creating complex strings. Now the syntax is simple and easy to use, making it the popular choice for many PHP developers. Now another syntax of creating the string is the nowDoc syntax. Now the nowDoc syntax in PHP is similar to the hereDoc syntax, but it treats the string content as a literal and does not interpret the variables and the escape sequences. It is useful when you need to create a large string that includes the literal text and you don't want PHP to interpret any special characters within it. Now the nowDoc syntax is created using the double set of quotes around the identifier. Now the identifier can be any valid identifier name, and it should be marked at the beginning and at the end of the content. Now the string content is enclosed by the identifier on the line by itself. Now let me show you how you can create the nowDoc syntax. So now this is the hereDoc syntax, and now I'm going to create the nowDoc syntax. Let's just scroll down a little bit, and now I want to create the nowDoc syntax. So I'm gonna type the nowDoc. I want to assign a string to it. The syntax is pretty much the same, except there is one difference. Now I'm going to name it as like EOT. Now in the nowDoc string, you have to surround it with these double single quotes, like the opening and closing single quotes. And now let me just close this by putting the identifier at the end of the string. And now finally you have to type the semicolon to terminate this string. And now this is the nowDoc string. It is not the hereDoc string. Now you cannot just interpret the variable inside it. So if I type the string, like this is the string, and now if I type the what I was typing at the top, like my name is, and now name, as you can see, it is not highlighting it. That means it is considering it as a string. And now let me also type the my age is age. So this is the variable that I have created. Let's see if it outputs the value. And now I want to say echo. So let's just type echo. And I want to echo this nowDoc. So I'm going to type the nowDoc. And now you will see the output here in the console. And here you can see undefined variable single. So it is not just outputting this value. My name is John Doe, and here is the other things. So now I think I made a mistake here. So here you can see I have removed the single string, but I'm including this echo, so I need to also remove this as well. Now let's just go back in the browser. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, now our code is working perfectly fine. My name is John. I'm 30 years old. This is the output from the hereDoc syntax, which is at the top, which is this one. Let me just also comment this text. Now you won't see the output from the first syntax. Let's just refresh the page. As you can see, my name is name and my age is age. So it is considering it as a string and it is not just interpreting the special characters. And now you can just type your text like that. So here you can just put whatever PHP expression you like 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, and it will consider it as a string and not the PHP code. So if I refresh the page, as you can see, it is showing the 1 plus 1 and not the 2, which is the actual value of these. Now the nowdoc syntax in PHP is useful when you need to create a string that includes literal text and you don't want PHP to interpret any special character within it. It is similar to the here_doc syntax, but it treats the string content as a literal and does not interpret the variable or escape sequences. Now when you use the variables inside your string, that is called the variable parsing. Now variable parsing in PHP string is a feature that allows variables to be inserted into the strings. Now there are two ways to accomplish this in PHP, using the simple syntax and using the complex syntax. Now the simple syntax for variable parsing in PHP string is to use the $sign followed by the name of the variable inside the double quoted string. For example, let me just cut this code. And now as you can see, this is my PHP. The code that I am going to type will be enclosed in both of these. Now let's create a variable, name variable. I'm going to create a name variable and I want to type the John here inside it. And now let's just use this John name inside another string. So now I want to type like hello and then I want to type the John. So how do I do that? Well, I will use the simple syntax of variable parsing, which is just to include the $sign just like that, and then you have to just type the name of the variable that you want to use. I want to use this name variable, and now it will just parse the value of this variable that I have created, and now it will say that hello John. Let's just get back to the browser. Let's refresh the page, and as you can see, hello John, that means it is interpreted successfully. Now the complex syntax for variable parsing in PHP strings is to enclose the variable name in the opening and closing curly brackets inside the double quoted string. Now this syntax is useful when you need to concatenate string with variables and when you want to use object properties or array elements inside a string. Now let me show you that syntax as well. It's pretty simple. This is the name of your variable. You just need to enclose it with the opening and closing curly brackets just like that, and it will work just fine as it was working before. Now let's get back to the browser and let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is still working. That means our code is legal and it is right. Now the complex syntax also allows for more complex expression to be evaluated and inserted into the string. So now let me give you the example for that as well. Let's just cut this all, and now I'm going to create a variable with the name price. And now inside this I want to type the 20.00. This is the floating point number, and now the type of this variable is the float. It is a floating point number because I have typed the dot here, and after the dot I have some like points like values. And now I also want to create another floating point number which is going to be the tax, and I want to assign a new value like 0.08. and now after this I want to just type the total. Now I have to just type the assignment operator, and here I'm going to type the expression. So now I'm going to type price, so just type the price and then plus the price, just type the price again, times tax. So now let's just type the tax here. Now what I want to do is I want to output the value in the $sign. So now let's just type echo, and now let's just type the total cost is, this total cost also includes the tax as well. So now I need to type this complex syntax just like this, opening and closing curly brackets, and in between those curly brackets I need to type the total. So this is going to be the total. Now let's also type the semicolon to just terminate this statement. Let's just get back to the browser. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is saying that the total cost is 26.6. Now I also want to add the dollar sign before this 21. Now how do I do that? Let's just try to do it. Let's just type the dollar sign here and let's see if it works. And let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is giving us the warning. It says that undefined variable. Now it is considering on the whole opening and closing curly brackets and the things inside it as a variable. Now it says that it is an undefined variable. Now for solving this problem, what we do, we type the slash here just like that. This is called the backslash. This is not the forward slash. The forward slash is like when you type the slash. This is called the forward slash, and this is the backward slash that we use, and these are called the escape sequences or escape characters. I wanted to type the dollar sign, so before dollar sign I have used this backslash. Now you will see the correct value here. As you can see, the total cost is $21.6. Now I'm able to put the dollar sign because of this escape character thing. Now I will cover the escape character in the next video, just don't worry about that. Now you can also access and modify the string one by one. So if you want to only modify some characters in your string, then you have the option for that as well. Now let me just create the string. I'm going to name it as string. Let's name it str, and now I want to assign a value here like hello world. Let's just type hello world just like that, and let's terminate it with the semicolon. And now I want to access the age. So how do I do that? Now strings are accessed and modified by a character using the indexes or the offsets. Now the first character in a string has the offset of 0. The second character has the offset of 1, and so on and so forth. So now you can just use these square brackets to access and modify a specific character using its offset. So now let's just use it. Now I want to get the value of the 0 index. So the index of the first character is 0. How do I access it? So now let me just directly display the value. Now I want to access the age. So first of all I need to type the name of the string, and now after that in the square brackets I need to type the index of a particular character. So the index of the first character is 0. So I'm going to type the 0 here. The index of the second character is the 1. So now let's just copy this and paste it. After that, now you will see in the screen HE. These are the two indexes that I have typed. So you will see the HE in the screen in the output. Let's refresh the page. And if I want to access any other character, like let's just type it. So now let's just count the offsets. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We also count the spaces in the offsets. Now let's just type the 8 here. Now you will see HO, because on the 0 index we have the H, and on the 8th index we have the O. You will see the HO in the screen. As you can see, it is showing me the HR. I don't know why. So I think I have typed the wrong index. So let's just start. I'm counting it wrong. I need to count from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the index of O is 7 and not the 8. I made a mistake because I was counting from 1. And now let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is just outputting the HO. Now with this syntax, you can also modify the string. So now let's just type str, and now I want to modify the character which is on the index 1. So I need to type the 1 here, and now I need to assign a new value into it. So I'm using the assignment operator for that. And now inside it I need to specify which character I want at the index 1 instead of the, so I need to type that character here. So I'm going to type the A here. As you can see, it is not giving me the output. The reason for that is we haven't typed it. So let's just type the echo here and str. Now it will give me the output because we have typed the echo. As you can see, it is saying that hello world instead of hello world because we have modified the string using this syntax. You have to just type the opening and closing square brackets, and inside those square brackets you have to type the index of the character that you want to modify, and then you can just assign a new value using the assignment operator and the regular string syntax, just like that. Now let's type the offset that doesn't exist here. So now let's just count the offset of this string. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have the 10 offset as a total, as a whole for this string. Now if I type like 15, now this offset is undefined, and let's see the output, what it says. As you can see, it has added a new character after the hello word. It is not showing us the empty spaces in between these. Now let's just access it without modifying it. That's how we access it. Now let's just try accessing it. So I'm going to type it in the echo statement here. Let's just cut this and let's just type it here. So now we are accessing the character. As you can see, there is no character that exists on the index 15 in this particular string. And if I refresh the page, as you can see, it is giving us the warning. It says that uninitialized string offset 15 at the line number 3. So it also gives you the line number where this error is happening. You have to just go back and you have to just fix that error here. So if I type the like 10, now this offset exists in this sequence of characters. And if I refresh the page, as you can see, it is giving me the last character because this is what that exists on the index 10. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and now I will see you in the next one. So hello and welcome to another video of my PHP course. Now in this tutorial I am going to talk about the escape characters in string. Now escape characters are special characters that are used in PHP to represent characters that are difficult or impossible to type in these strings. Now they are used to represent the characters with a special meaning in the programming. In this tutorial, we will cover some commonly used escaped characters in PHP, and I will provide you some examples of how to use them. Now the first escape character that I want to talk about in this video is the single quote escape character. Now let me show you how you can use that single quote escape character. So let's just type the echo, and now I'm just using the single quotes to create my strings. And now inside this single quoted string, if I want another single quote here inside it like this, now it will just not allow me to enter it. As you can see, it is an invalid string. So now if I type it's the string, now as you can see, let me just terminate it with the semicolon. Now it is only considering this it as a string because this is the opening single quote and this is the closing single quote, and inside this I have two characters, but my string was from here to here and I wanted to put another single quote inside this string that is surrounded by the single quote. Now as you can see, I am not able to do that. So if I refresh the page, then you will see I am getting the error. I have opened my first.php page and my Apache server is also working. As you can see, it is giving me the stop button. That means it is already working, and if I want to stop it, I can just click on that, and as you can see, status change detected, it is running. So our Apache server is running currently. It is giving me the error. It says that syntax error, unexpected identifier s. It is only considering this as a string, and then it is expecting you to put the semicolon just like that, and now you are putting the s here. Now how do you type the single quote around the string that is surrounded by the single quote? Now you can use the backward slash and then the single quote. Now this single quote will work as the escape character if you use the backward slash here just like that. Now in the output you will see it's the string. Now let's just refresh the page. Now our code will work perfectly fine. As you can see, that's how we can use the single quotes around the string that is surrounded by the single quote itself. Now similarly, if you have created your string with the double quotes and you want to put another double quotes inside your string, so let me show you how you can do that. So now I'm going to type like she said, and then I want to type the hello here. So now how do I do that? So let's just try typing it. So I'm going to type like hello, and then I'm going to type like, and then I also want to put this closing quote as well. So this is my string, and inside this string I want to create the double quoted string here just like that. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying that she said hello because I want to put the quote inside it that is quoted from someone. Let's see if it works. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is giving me the same error. It is saying that unexpected identifier hello. It is expecting you to put the semicolon, because when you have the opening and closing quotes, that means the string has been finished, and then you should put the semicolon. Instead you are putting the hello, so that's why it is giving me the error. Now for solving this, you have to use the same technique. You have to use the backward slash after this. So this backward slash is for this quote, and then I have this quote as well that I want to put inside the string that is surrounded by the double quote. How I have to also put the backward slash here, just like that. Now these two quotes are working as the escape characters, and now it will just work perfectly fine. The output is going to be she said hello, and that hello will be surrounded by the quotes, which is the double quotes. Let's refresh the page, and here you can see she said hello. Now let's talk about the escape character of backward slash. This is the escape character of like a double quotes, and before this escape character we have talked about the single quote escape character. Now let's talk about the backward slash escape character. Now for using any escape character, as you know, we use the backward slash. So this time I want to show the directory of a particular thing, like let's just type on C drive, and now in C drive I have the folder that is the XAMPP. So I'm going to type XAMPP, and then inside this XAMPP folder I have the htdocs folder, so I'm going to type the htdocs here. Now as you can see I have typed the echo and then the string, and I'm terminating it with the semicolon. Now you won't see the backward slash here because the string is considering this backward slash as the escape character, so it will just understand it as the escape character and not the actual backward slash. So if you see here, let me just refresh the page, because it is considering it as the escape character, and you will see the wrong output here. So XAM, so XA is not visible here. So if I refresh the page again, you won't see the output, as you can see. And after that you have the htdocs here. It is just displaying this escape character here, and it is just displaying this backward slash here, but not the first one. Now how do you solve this problem? Now the solution is simple. You have to just use the double backward slash, so that it will consider it as the actual backward slash and not for the escape character. And now this is our escape character backward slash, and this is the actual backward slash that we want to insert, which is the second one. As you can see, C drive, and inside the C drive you have the XAMPP folder, and inside this XAMPP folder you have the htdocs folder, and that's what I wanted to type. Now the next escape character that I want to talk about is the tab escape character. So now for typing the tab escape character, let me just give you the example. Let's type hello and then the word, and now I want more space in between the hello and word, so I need to press the tab button, and instead of pressing the tab button here, I want the output to be tabbed. So what I do, so I'm gonna put the backward slash and then the T. So the backward slash T is the escape character for pressing the tab here. Let's just type it like this, but it can work when you are using it in the HTML. So now let's move on to the next thing, which is the new line escape character. So you have to just type the N. So this will work as the new line escape character, and it will make this word in the new line. Similarly, we have some other escape characters like the backspace escape character. So for typing the backspace escape character, you have to type it like this. So as you can see, let me just type the backward slash. Now you will see that it will delete this O, because when you press the backspace, it just deletes the character on the left side, so it will just delete the character. Now using escaped characters can help you to create more flexible and reliable code in PHP. By representing special characters with escaped characters, you can make your code more understandable and easier to maintain. With the examples provided in this tutorial, you can now confidently use the escape characters in your PHP code. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful as always, and now I will see you in the next one. Integers are the fundamental data types in PHP that represents whole numbers without a decimal point. They are commonly used in arithmetic operations, loops, and other programming constructors. In this tutorial, we will cover the syntax of integers in PHP, including the integer literals and how to specify the base of a number. We will also discuss the integer overflow, which is a crucial issue to consider when working with the integers. So in PHP, an integer is a whole number without a decimal point. Integers can be positive or negative and have a range of values depending on the system architecture. Now the syntax for the integers in PHP is straightforward. You can simply type the whole number without any decimal point. For example, let me create the example here. So you have to type the name of the variable starting with the $sign, and then you have to type the name. So now that's how we type the name, and after this equal sign you have to type the whole number without the point or the dot. So now that's how we create the positive number. If you want to create the negative number, then you can just type the negative number just like that. So I'm going to type n.number, and this is going to be our negative number. So now this is a positive integer and this is the negative integer. So these are two different integers. Now in addition, you can also specify the base of a number by using the prefix. So now if I type the number like that, so let me just type the number like binary, and if I type it like 0b, and after typing the 0b, if I type like 111, this is what's called a binary number. So whenever you find this b in a number, you have to just understand that this is a binary number. And moving on, you can also type the octal number as well. Let me just type the octal, and now octal number starts like 0 1 2 3, just like that. Now this 0 1 2 3 will be equivalent to like 83, and you also have the option of typing the number as the hexadecimal as well. So if I type like hexa, and then if so you can name it whatever you like, but the value should always be the like 0x, and then you can just type whatever hexadecimal number you like. If I type 1a, the a with the capital letter, and if I just log the value in the screen, so let's just type it. So let's just type hexa, and now you will see the value in the console. As you can see, the value of this is going to be the 26. So now you can also type your numbers like that. So let's just cut all these numbers. So these are all called the integer literals, which are used to represent the integer value directly in the code. Now when working with the integers in PHP, it is essential to consider the integer overflow, which occurs when a value exceeds the maximum limit that can be stored in an integer variable. Now in 32-bit system, the maximum integer value is like 10 characters. So now you can just count it. And now let me show you the maximum character limit of the 62-bit system. Now this is the maximum character limit for the 64-bit system. Now if you try to assign a value greater than the maximum limit of the system, it will result in the integer overflow, which may lead to the unexpected results or errors. For example, let me just do that. So let me just assign a value to a variable. Let's just create a variable first. The first variable, I'm going to name the first variable as like number. So let's just type the number here, and let's assign a bigger value here. Let's type like 2 1 4 7. Now that's the maximum character limit for the 32-bit system. My system is 64 bits, so it will have no effect on my system. So now let's just increment one value to it. So let's just type number, and let's assign a value that is with the number plus 1. So it will add 1 to it. And if I echo the value, so let's just type echo number, and let's refresh the page. As you can see, it is just giving me the right output. Instead of the 47, it is the 48. Now let's type the 64-bit system number as well. You can just pause the video and type it slowly. So I'm going to type 9 2 2 3 3 7 2 0. Now that is the maximum character limit for the 64-bit system. Let's just try it here. So I'm gonna refresh the page. As you can see, this is not what we have expected. It is giving me the error in some sort of like scientific notation or something. I don't know about that, but it is not giving us the right value. But if I just output it as it is without adding a number, let's see what value it is going to give us. As you can see, now it is giving us the exact value that we have typed here, but if you add 1 into it, then it will just give you the unexpected value. Usually we don't do the calculation. It's a very big number. We don't do that big calculations. So understanding the syntax and limitations of integers in PHP is essential for writing reliable and secure code. Now, by using the integer literals and specifying the base of a number, you can work with the integers more efficiently. Additionally, considering integer overflow and choosing the appropriate data types for our programs can help you avoid unexpected results and errors. Now, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and now I will see you in the next one. Now, floating point numbers or floats are the important data types in PHP for representing the numbers with the decimal point. They offer greater precision than the integers and are commonly used in a variety of tasks such as representing the temperatures, currency, and the GPS locations. In this tutorial, I will cover the basics of floats in PHP, including the syntax, precision, and some common pitfalls to avoid. Now, a floating point number, also known as a float, is a data type that represents a number with a decimal point. Floats are used to store numbers that require more precision than the integers. For example, if you need to represent the temperature, a monetary value, or a GPS location, you would likely use the floats instead of the numbers. Now, the syntax of the float in PHP is similar to that of an integer. You can simply write a number with the decimal point. So first of all, I'm going to type the temperature. So let's just type temp, and I want to assign the temperature value like the 96 Fahrenheit, like 96. So let me type 96.4 or 96.3 Fahrenheit. Now this is the temperature. Now you can also use the numbers data type as well, but in this case when we are declaring the temperatures, as you know, we also have the precision values like dot and then something. Then you would likely prefer to use the floats instead of the integers. Now let me also type the price as well. Now when you are talking about the price, you can also use the floats like to display the price like $2.99. So now this is the price. You can also type the price like $3. But now suppose if you have a little bit of discount like for 1 cent, and now you have to type it like 2.99. so that's how you can just type the price as well. Now you can also use the floats for the GPS locations like the latitude. So let me type the latitude, latitude, that's how we type the latitude. And now you can just type the latitude, whatever the latitude is. So like something and something, just like that. That's how we type the latitude. We have, so I have to type the dot here. So now these are all the examples of using the floats instead of the integers. Now you can also use the scientific notation to represent a very large and very small numbers. Now scientific notations consist of a number followed by the letter E and the exponent. So now let me just type the number in the scientific notation. So now you have to type the semicolon as well. So just don't forget to type the semicolon, because whenever you forget to type the semicolon, then it will just give you the error. And now I'm gonna type a number with the scientific notation. Number is equals to and 1.23 and then the E. So this is the E and then the 6. So this is the scientific notation number. Let's also type another one which is going to be the smaller number. So now smaller and 1.23 and then the E. Let's type the E in the capital letters, and then after typing the minus, just type the 6. Now let's just output both of these values. So let's just echo the number, as well as let's just copy and paste it, and also let's echo the smaller as well. Let's get back to the browser, refresh the page, and these are the two numbers. Now as you can see, there is no break in between them, so let me just add the BR tag here. So after typing the dot and this, let's just type the BR tag that we have in the HTML. Let's see if it works. Let's just type BR. As you can see, now we have the break in between these two numbers. This is a very big number, 1 2 3, and then you have the 4 zeros here. So just like we have typed here, 1.23 and then these 6 things. Here you can see it is just outputting the value in the scientific notation, and it is just outputting the correct value. So that's it for the float, guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and now I will see you in the next one.